Fate of the Furious is the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. Anybody else expect this franchise to go on that long? I was definitely intrigued for this movie because the Fast and Furious franchise, it's a franchise that's grown on me. Because one, it's really remarkable just how long this franchise has been going on to and what it's really turned into. You know, it just started out as sort of like this street racing franchise and then it turned into something special. And that is the fact that this franchise can really pull off being these fun, absurd, ridiculous action movies that everyone can just have a good time with. That's one of the things that I was definitely hoping for going into this movie, and I was also definitely interested to see how this franchise was going to go forward without Paul Walker. So the movie picks up sometime after the events of Furious 7. Dom and Letty, they're on their honeymoon, and on this honeymoon, Dom encounters Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, and she tells Dom that he is going to now work for her. And we get the first sign of that when we see Dom recovering an EMP device with his team, and as they're heading back to the base, Dom takes this moment to take out The Rock and take the EMP device for himself, leaving The Rock to get captured by the police. Now, I speak for everyone when I say when we saw the trailer and we saw that Dom had all of a sudden turned against his team, the question is, why did he? I mean, some of the options that went through my head were, you know, did Cypher just brainwash Dom, or has Dom technically been against them this whole time, and this is like, hey, surprise, fuck all of you, you know, I'm bad. But no, the movie took a direction that I really wasn't expecting that I felt really worked for the movie. We discovered the reason that Dom is working for Cypher is because she has captured and killed his ex-girlfriend and is now holding their baby son hostage, whom Dom has never met. And she's basically at the point like, you're gonna do everything I say or I will kill your infant son. Which works great for the movie because in that moment you're like, alright, Cypher is a cold-hearted evil bitch and I want her to die. And you also completely understand why Dom is doing what he's doing. I mean, it breaks his heart that he has to go against his team, but now that he knows that he's a father and he has a child of his own, I mean, he can't just abandon that. So in the meantime, the Fast and Furious team, they know they're gonna need some help if they're gonna take down Dom and eventually take down Cypher. So to do that, Kurt Russell not only frees Dwayne Johnson from prison, but he also frees Jason Statham from the previous movie to come in to help. And it's right here brought a lot of surprising comedy to this movie. I mean, obviously The Rock and Jason Statham, their characters hate each other. They just want to throw down with each other this whole time, but they know they gotta stick it out and work together. But what's also insane right here is you just see how tough of a villain Cypher is to take down because she's always one step ahead of these people. Because at first they think they can use God's Eye that they acquired from the last movie to track down Cypher, but she ends up finding them first and has Dom take God's Eye for their own usage. Cypher now further takes advantage of having Dom and now God's Eye to find a nuclear football for Dom to take from the Russian Ministry of Defense. And what's great about this is you finally see Dom really going up against his former team. They quickly realize they got their work cut out for them here. And then we get this really cool action scene, but it is also in this point where you do realize that this movie is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, for starters, you just see Dom just driving as well as he can, and you buy that because that's what he's always been capable of doing, but it's when you see him in like this armored suit just blocking all these bullets coming after him, just kicking complete ass like a mixed martial artist or whatever. It just has this thing of like, since when did you become this good of a fighter? I get it, the movie wants to make him, you know, appear like this unstoppable superhuman, so the team really knows it's gonna be tough to bring him down, but it does have you wondering, where was this whole time? But even more so in this moment, Cypher uses the EMP device that Dom grabbed earlier in the movie, and she starts using it on all the cars that are in this city, and she has them all like driving out of this garage building to just rain on the Fast and Furious crew. You're just like, okay, that would never ever happen. And that's the other thing to be aware of with this movie. It's following the same pattern that a lot of the previous Fast and Furious movies have done, you know? A lot of good action, but not all of it is believable, so you need to suspend those beliefs. But eventually, Dom escapes with nuclear football. It looks like he kills Jason Statham in the process. So now at this point, Dom is now sent to Russia to officially finalize what Cypher's big plan has been this whole time. She wants Dom to use the EMP device on this nuclear submarine to disable it, then proceed to place the nuclear football in the submarine so Cypher can then control it and essentially start a nuclear war among the world. This final action scene, though, it's really awesome. Because here, Kurt Russell knows they gotta go all out if they're gonna stop this, so he supplies the Fast and Furious crew with literally everything they could need. You know, gives them a tank, military arsenal. He lets Tyrese Gibson drive the orange Lamborghini that he wanted to drive. But even cooler than that, we discovered that Jason Statham survived because turns out Dom was planning on this whole time to stage Jason Statham's death so he and his surviving brother Owen could board the plane where Cypher and Dom's son is so they could rescue his son. I gotta tell you, seeing Jason Statham rescue Dom's baby, it's pretty hilarious. I mean, it's awesome at the same time. It really just grabs how much of a badass Jason Statham is. I mean, he literally just like puts these headphones on this baby, playing, you know, the baby music, so, you know, he's just chilled out, relaxed, having a good old time, while Jason Statham's just kicking ass all over this plane, you know, making sure the baby's out of trouble, and all this time just taking time out to look at the baby. It's like, you doing okay? Good for you, man. You just watch it's like, yeah, he'd be the greatest babysitter ever. And eventually at the point when Jason Statham is able to free Dom's son, you know, get him safe, Cypher now realizes she has no control over Dom anymore. He reunites with his team, and now they all gonna avoid this giant submarine coming at them. Luckily though, they're able to do that because, you know, they're all really good drivers, they have fast cars, and, you know, they're able to elude a submarine while driving on thin ice. I just love that this franchise is really trying to establish that. It's like, oh, if you're a really good driver and you have a fast car, you can avoid everything. Planes, tanks, submarines, all of it. Cypher makes a last-ditch effort to try to launch a missile at the Fast and Furious crew, but Dom is able to use the heat-seeking ability of the missile to follow him and then has it crash into the submarine, which destroys that, which ruins her plan. Unfortunately though, before Jason Statham can kill Cypher or capture her, she escapes from her plane in the parachute. She's free. Well, at least now we all know who the villain of the sequel is gonna be. Probably her again. So yeah, at the end of the movie, you know, the Fast and Furious crew, they're all reunited. Dom has his son with him. You know, they all finally patch things up with Jason Statham because, you know, he did kill Han the last movie, but Dom's like, you know what? You saved my son. We're good now. And because Elena never named their son, Dom gets the honor to do that, and he names him Brian after Brian O'Connor. So all in all, The Fate of the Furious is what it was trying to be. A fun, enjoyable action movie. I did love the twist of Dom turning against the Fast and Furious crew. The Fast and Furious crew themselves, they all have great chemistry together. Charlize Theron was an awesome villain for this movie. I do hope we see her again because she did so great. It has good action, good comedy, really nice cars. I mean, the movie doesn't make the most sense. Some of the action is ridiculous, so you need to be prepared for that. And I will say, it is a little bit weird and different not seeing Paul Walker as a part of this movie. But in the end, I had fun with this movie, and if this franchise wants to keep going for a couple more, I have no reason to stop it. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.